Have you ever wondered, out of the hundreds of people around, why does a dog choose just one person to love with all its heart? You might think that feeding it and taking it for walks is enough. But the truth is, something that often brings people to tears. Dogs don't speak, but every little action is like a silent love song meant only for the one they see as their whole world. I once saw a friend break down crying when his dog, who everyone thought was just friendly like any other dog, stopped eating for 3 days simply because he was away. That's not just attachment, that's love. In this video, I'll share 15 heartwarming things that dogs only do with the ones they truly love. Number 7 will tug at your heart. And it might just make you want to hug your dog right after watching. And don't forget, if you love dogs as much as I do, hit that subscribe button to get more heartfelt stories like this every week. Now, let's find out if you're the most special person in your dog's world. There are days when you just want to collapse, lie still from exhaustion. And then, you feel a small, warm weight rest on your chest. It's your dog's head. Gently, silently. It doesn't need to say anything, but its presence whispers, "I'm here. I see you're hurting, and I'm not going anywhere." Dogs don't need to understand what happened. They just know their person is in pain, and they'll feel it with you. Studies show that dogs can sense stress hormones in sweat, subtle changes in breathing, even the sadness in your eyes. And what's amazing is, instead of running away or getting scared, they stay, right next to you, like a quiet blanket of love. That kind of connection can only come from a truly bonded heart. And if you've ever come home, barely turned the key in the door, and chaos explodes in joy, you're not alone. That's a love storm only dogs who deeply love their humans express. It's not just jumping, barking, or tail wagging. It's an uncontrollable, full-body celebration. Scientists have found that dogs' oxytocin levels, the love hormone, spike when they reunite with the person they love most. A hug, a look, even just the sound of your steps at the door is enough to throw a party. That joy is pure. It's real, and it's just for you. Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and suddenly felt your heart calm down? Not a scared or confused look, but a deep, still gaze, like they're saying, "You're the one I trust. You're my home." Eye contact for dogs isn't just about looking, it's a deep form of bonding. In the wild, wolves only make direct eye contact with pack members they completely trust. When your dog looks at you softly, blinking slowly, or even gently closing their eyes, it means no one else could take your place. It's a wordless confession of love, the kind you'll never forget once you've felt it. There are nights when you don't say a word, but the moment you lie down, you feel your dog's warm back pressed against you. No invitation, no demands, just a quiet desire to sleep beside you. Not because it's the comfiest spot, but because it's the safest. In nature, animals sleep next to those they trust most to stay warm and protected. If your dog chooses to sleep next to you, it means you are the one it trusts completely. You can rest easy. I'm here. That's not just closeness. It's proof of loyalty, connection, and unconditional love. Have you ever noticed how your dog's whole demeanor changes when a stranger approaches? Ears perk up, eyes scan, body leans in close, maybe even stepping in front of you like a living shield. That's not aggression. That's pure protective instinct. Dogs that love their humans often react sharply to even the slightest threat. A fast-moving stranger, a strange tone of voice. It's all it takes for them to go on alert. What moves us isn't their strength. It's how they quietly say, "Don't worry, I've got you." Have you ever felt completely safe, just knowing you're loved that deeply? Dogs have their own way of showing love. Sometimes, it's just a gentle lick on your hand or face. Those wet kisses might make you laugh, but behind them is a world of emotion. From puppyhood, dogs lick their mother to bond and seek care. As adults, it becomes an emotional ritual, expressing love and calming both themselves and you. Many dogs lick their humans when they sense stress, as if to say, "It's okay, I'm here." It's not random. It's instinctive love. And if your dog playfully bites your hand during fun time, don't worry. That's not aggression. It's a primal way to express trust and bonding. Among puppies, soft biting is how they play and connect. If they bite too hard, their sibling yelps and stops playing, so they learn to control the bite from a young age. When your dog gently bites you during play, it's seeing you as family. "I love you. I want to play, but I won't hurt you." There's a tenderness in that touch that only love can teach. Here's something strange that many dog owners miss: unconditional forgiveness. Ever snapped at your dog when you were stressed? Ever came home late and left it waiting in lonely silence for hours? And yet, when you open the door, it comes running, tail wagging, eyes shining, as if none of it ever happened. No one forgives faster than a dog, because they don't live in the past. They live in the now. And if now you're back, that's enough. While people hold grudges and build walls, dogs open their hearts and quietly say, "As long as you're here, I'll love you like nothing ever hurt." Have you ever left the room only to find that little shadow trailing right behind? Whether you're heading to the kitchen, the porch, or just the bathroom, your dog follows without question. Not out of curiosity, but because it's wired into their pack instinct. Stay close to the leader. But it goes deeper. You are their safe place, the warmth that brings them peace. Some dogs even mirror their owner's emotions. When you're sad, they lie quietly beside you. When you're happy, they jump with joy. And the most beautiful part is, they don't need to be called. If you move, they follow, as if saying, "Wherever you go, I'm with you." Have you ever been sitting still, and your dog suddenly places a paw gently on your hand? No command, no training, just a quiet reach. Dogs do this when they sense sadness, stress, or simply want to say, "I'm with you." That tiny gesture might seem small, but it's one of the clearest signs of emotional connection, intentional contact, quiet presence. Sometimes it's paired with a pleading look that melts your heart. No words needed, just a touch that heals. There's another quiet sign, often only seen when you're away for a long time. Your dog still eats, still plays, but suddenly stops eating. No illness, no clear reason, just no appetite, because you're not there. It surprises many people, but it's a powerful display of emotional attachment. In your dog's world, your absence equals imbalance. Skipping meals is just their way of saying they miss you. Isn't that something only real love could explain? Then there's that small moment people often dismiss, when your dog looks at you and lets out a soft, relaxed sigh. That's not boredom. It's a deep exhale of safety. Like a person resting in the arms of someone they love, whispering, "Finally, I'm home." Dogs only sigh this way when they feel completely at peace. No alertness, no danger. If you've heard that sigh, you hold a very special place in your dog's heart. Even more touching, many dogs tend to mimic your emotions. When you smile, they wag harder. When you cry, they curl up closer, their eyes full of depth. Science calls this emotional mirroring, a rare trait found only in deeply bonded species. One person shared, "Every time I'm angry, my dog presses itself against the wall, as if it's trying to calm me down. But once I soften, it runs over and licks my hand." Dogs don't just see your emotions, they feel them. And that doesn't happen without real love. Another sign of deep connection is how your dog reacts when you say, "Good night." Some dogs, no matter where they are, will walk over to their bed when they hear that familiar phrase. It's not just habit. It's unspoken understanding, a shared rhythm between you and them. Like two people who've lived together long enough that they don't need many words. Just one short phrase, and both know it's time to rest, and all is well. And finally, one of the most powerful wordless gestures. When you're tense, anxious, or just emotionally empty, your dog quietly comes close and rests its head on your chest. No barking, no playing, just being there, right over your heart. That moment says more than words ever could. I feel you. That presence, in that moment, is a kind of miracle. Because there are pains no one else understands, but your dog does. No questions, no explanations, just pure, unconditional love. And if you've recognized even a few of these signs in your dog, then congratulations. You're not just its owner. You're the most special person in its small world. You are its anchor, its joy, the heart it chose to love fully. A dog's love isn't loud or flashy, but it's so honest it can make a heavy day feel lighter, and a quiet heart feel warm again. They love you in ways that don't need words. And perhaps the most magical thing is that you don't need to do anything extraordinary to deserve it. Just be you, present, loving, and patient. And that's enough. If today's message touched your heart, if you saw a piece of your own soul in the eyes and little gestures of your four-legged friend, then don't forget to subscribe. Because here, every week, I'll share more stories like these, where you and your dog are the stars. Have you ever looked at your dog lying beside you, not moving, not barking, not even blinking, and thought, he knows something's wrong? You might think he's just resting. But maybe he's holding you together. The day my wife died, my dog didn't leave my side. He laid his head on my chest and sighed just once. And somehow that sound told me more than any human word ever could. That I wasn't alone, that I was seen, that I was still loved, even in the quiet. People often say dogs don't understand us, but what if they do, just not the way we expect? What if their stillness, their gaze, their gentle touch are all tiny ways of saying, "You're my world"? In this video, I want to show you 30 things dogs only do for the person they truly love. Some are simple. Some might sound silly. But if you've ever felt broken and your dog didn't leave you, these moments will feel like memories. The truth is, dogs don't love the loudest. They love the deepest. And once you recognize these signs, you may never see your dog the same way again. So let's begin not with facts or theories, but with what they do when you don't even ask. When you're too tired to talk, too tired to stand. But they come anyway, and just lay down beside you. There are days when you don't want to talk. You're not angry, not sad, just empty. You sit on the couch staring at nothing, and then a small weight settles next to you. It's your dog. No barking, no demand for food or play. Just presence. He lays there sometimes with his head pressed against your leg, sometimes curled into your side like a comma in a sentence you didn't know how to finish. It's not random. It's not for comfort. It's something much deeper. It's how dogs say, "I'm here. I know you're not okay. And I'm not going anywhere." There's something about that stillness that speaks louder than words. The warm back pressed against yours, the soft breathing in sync with your own. It tells a story of loyalty, of quiet understanding. And for many men, especially those who've lost a spouse or live alone, it's the only touch that doesn't ask for anything in return. Science even backs this up. In a study from Japan, researchers found that when a dog makes eye contact with its favorite human, both the dog and the human experience a surge in oxytocin, the same hormone released between a mother and her newborn. One gaze, one look, and your heart knows he's not just looking at me. He sees me. Maybe you've felt it. That soft gaze when you're lying in bed after a hard day. The way he gently leans his head against your chest. The sigh that escapes him not from boredom, but from relief. It's his way of saying, "This is my safe place." And when he chooses to sleep beside you, night after night, not because the bed is warm or the pillow is soft, but because you are there, that's not habit. That's trust. In the wild, animals only sleep close to those they trust with their life. So if your dog curls into the bend of your knee or rests quietly by your feet until morning, he's telling you, "You're my pack. You're home." One man shared that after his heart surgery he couldn't sleep. The pain was too much. But his dog, usually playful, always bouncing, lay completely still on his chest every night. No movement, just warmth and a heartbeat. He said, "That pressure on my chest, it wasn't heavy. It held me together." And sometimes they don't even need to touch you. Just following you from room to room, lying nearby, keeping you in their line of sight. It's all a form of guarding, a soft form, a wordless watchfulness. And in those moments, when your dog chooses to just be with you, you realize he's doing what people often can't. He's staying. Not to fix, not to cheer you up, just to say, "I'm not leaving." And that kind of presence, that silence shared between two beings, isn't just beautiful, it's sacred. Because in a world that often tells men to toughen up, to keep going, to not fall apart, a dog says, you don't have to hold it all in. You can just breathe. And sometimes that's the only permission we need. But physical presence is only the beginning. Because what if I told you, your dog doesn't just stay close to you, he also mirrors how you feel. In the next part, we'll explore something extraordinary, how dogs not only read your emotions, but reflect them. When you're down, they get quiet. When you smile, they wag harder. And when your world falls apart, they feel it in their bones. Let's step into that quiet magic and discover what true empathy on four legs really looks like. Have you ever been crying silently, not sobbing, and suddenly felt a paw on your hand? No command, no training, just presence. Your dog didn't hear words. He felt a shift. The way your shoulders curled, the way your breath faltered, the sadness in your stillness. And instead of barking or playing or retreating, he reached out. There's a word for that: mirroring. It means they don't just sense your emotions, they reflect them. Like emotional glass, one man shared. During my panic attacks, my dog would press his big head into my chest. Not bark, not whine, just stay there pushing gently like he was anchoring me to the earth. That pressure, it wasn't heavy. It was hope. Scientists have been studying this, and what they found is stunning. Dogs can smell stress hormones like cortisol in your sweat. They can pick up on changes in your breathing, in your posture, even in the way your eyes move. But more than that, they adjust their behavior accordingly. This is called emotional contagion, and dogs are among the few animals who show it toward humans. That means when you're sad, your dog doesn't just notice. He feels it too. You'll see it in the way he moves, more slowly lies down near you instead of bringing toys. In the way he watches you from across the room, head slightly tilted as if waiting for a cue your voice can't give. And sometimes he doesn't even wait. He gets up, walks over, and gently presses his body against yours. He becomes smaller, quieter, because you are hurting. Because something in his body tells him, my human needs stillness now. Another man shared, every time I'd start to spiral, my dog would place his head on my knee and just look up. It was like he was saying, stay with me, breathe with me. And honestly, that saved me more than once. Some people think dogs just follow vibes. But studies show that dogs raised with emotionally sensitive humans actually develop stronger neural mirroring patterns. That's right, your bond, your shared pain, your silent rituals have literally shaped his brain. It's not just comforting, it's biological. And it doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's just the way he lies down when you do, or the way he perks up the second your voice cracks, or how he doesn't leave the room not even when the door's open. Because his job, unspoken, unwritten, is to feel with you. And that's what separates a pet from a partner. They don't say, I understand. They show it. Quietly. Softly. Repeatedly. One woman recalled a night after her father passed. She said, I didn't speak. I just sat in the hallway. And my dog, who usually hated tile floors, came and lay beside me. Didn't move for hours. Didn't even blink. It was like he refused to let me face it alone. If that isn't love, what is? And here's the hardest part to explain to people who've never felt it. Dogs don't mirror your feelings because they're trained to. They do it because you're their person. Because your pain is their call to action. Because they want to be there when no one else is. And maybe that's why it hits so hard. Because when you can't hold yourself together, they try to hold you instead. But what happens when you're not there? When you're in the hospital or away for days, and your dog is left staring at the door? In the next part, we'll explore something most people miss, but no dog forgets how deeply your absence breaks their balance. We'll look at why some dogs stop eating, stop playing, even stop responding, not because they're sick, but because you're gone. And what that says about the invisible thread between you. Have you ever come home after a few days away, and before you can even shut the door, your dog throws a celebration? Not just barking, not just wagging. I'm talking about the kind of joy that shakes their whole body, like every cell in them is saying, you're back. My world makes sense again. But what happens during the days you're not there? One man shared, when I was in the hospital, my dog refused to eat. Just stayed curled on my side of the bed. No illness. No injury. Just waiting. We like to think our dogs are okay as long as someone feeds them, walks them. But for deeply bonded dogs, your presence isn't optional. It's oxygen. And when you're gone, they hold their breath. There's a quiet grief that dogs go through, especially those who've chosen one person as their anchor. It's not dramatic. They don't howl at the moon. They just stop. Stop eating. Stop wagging. Stop responding. One woman said, she won't eat drink or even go to the bathroom when I leave for more than a day. That's not disobedience. That's devotion. That's a soul waiting for its center to return. And science backs this up. In studies where dogs were exposed to the scent of their owner's sweat, taken during stress versus calm, their behavior changed instantly. Dogs who smelled stress grew withdrawn, cautious. Those who smelled calm, wagged more, stayed closer. The scent alone told them how you were. Now imagine when that scent fades from the house entirely. They don't just miss you, they lose their sense of place. Some dogs sit by the door for hours. Others drag your clothes onto their bed. Some pace at night. But the most heartbreaking ones simply lie still, like they're pressing pause on everything until you come back. It's easy to underestimate that kind of silence. But in a dog's world, waiting is not passive. It's powerful. It's their way of saying, nothing matters until you're home. And when you do return, they don't scold. They don't punish. They explode with joy like grief never touched them. That's love without a ledger. And sometimes, even if you're only gone for a few hours, they still react like you've crossed an ocean. The ears perk up the moment your car turns the corner. The tail starts wagging before the key hits the lock. Because dogs don't measure time. They measure presence. And when their favorite person vanishes even briefly, it leaves a shadow nothing else can fill. So, if you've ever come home to a mess or silence or a dog who looks like they've been waiting at the gates of heaven, don't be annoyed. Be honored. Because you are home, in the purest sense of the word. But what if I told you, your dog doesn't just wait for you? Sometimes they stand between you and danger. In the next part, we'll step into something primal and powerful. How dogs protect the one they love most. Not just with barks or bites, but with quiet shields, subtle stares, and an instinct older than memory. Let's explore what it means when your dog becomes your silent guard. It starts small. You're walking down the street, and someone walks by a little too fast. Your dog shifts not aggressively, not loudly, just one step closer to you. Sometimes in front, sometimes brushing your leg. A silent movement that says, I saw that. I'm here. It's not about fear. It's about instinct. About love. Dogs don't need to be trained to protect the person they love most. For some, it's woven into their bones. One man told me I didn't even notice how tense I'd gotten during an argument until my dog stood between me and the other guy, completely silent, just watching. But his presence changed everything. It grounded me. It warned the other man. And it reminded me I wasn't alone. That's what bonded dogs do. They don't just comfort, they guard. Not with growls or snarls, but with position, with presence, with a stillness that carries weight. Dogs descended from wolves, yes. But unlike wolves, they've evolved to bond not just with their own kind, but with us. And in a pack, the role of protection always falls to the one who loves most. Sometimes it's subtle. He walks a step ahead when strangers approach. He stares at someone a second too long just to make sure. He positions his body between you and the world, as if to say, if anything touches you, it goes through me first. And even in your own home, he watches, listens, tracks your breathing at night, checks the door, circles the bed before settling. That's not habit. That's vigilance born of devotion. You might think you're the protector in the relationship, and in many ways you are. But ask any man who's gone through grief or illness or heartbreak, and they'll tell you. There were moments when they felt completely exposed, until their dog stepped up. Not with force, but with presence. One night after my wife passed, I sat on the porch, completely unraveling. And out of nowhere, my dog pressed his back against my leg and looked into the darkness. Didn't move for over an hour. I realized later I wasn't the only one holding pain that night. He was holding it with me. Holding me. That kind of protection doesn't show up in training books. It comes from love. From knowing your rhythms, your moods, your silences. And from choosing again and again to stand beside you. Some people think dogs protect territory, but bonded dogs, they protect hearts, not because they're told to, because they want to. And that desire to guard not just your body, but your peace is perhaps the most selfless act a creature can offer. But for all their strength and instinct, there's something else they carry that's even more powerful: forgiveness. Because no matter how hard your day was, no matter what you said, or forgot, or failed to do, they're still waiting at the door, still wagging their tail, still choosing you. In the next part, we'll talk about something most humans struggle with, but dogs seem born to master the art of loving without keeping score. Because when you snap, when you leave, when you disappoint, they don't walk away. They lean in. Here's something that still humbles me, even after all these years. It's not how fast my dog runs to me when I come home. It's not how he curls into my back when I sleep. It's what he does when I don't deserve it. The nights I come home late, frustrated, cold, not at him, just at the world. The times I walk past him without a word. Or worse, raise my voice when I'm really just angry at life. And yet, the moment I sit down, he comes over. Tail wagging, head low, eyes soft. Like he's saying, "Are you okay? I'm still here." That kind of forgiveness, it's not taught. It's not earned. It's given freely again and again. One man shared, "After my wife died, I shut down. For weeks, I barely fed. My dog barely spoke. But every night he laid by my feet. Every morning he waited by the door. Not once did he give up on me." Dogs don't keep score. They don't remember the bad days. They don't replay your mistakes. They live in the now, and in their now, if you're here, that's enough. And that kind of love changes you. There's even science to it. In studies on emotional support, animals older adults with dogs report significantly lower levels of loneliness and depression. One long-term study showed a drop of 8 points on the UCLA loneliness scale after just a few months of dog companionship. But this isn't about data. It's about the moment you realize you could leave, fail, fall apart. And your dog would still choose you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're theirs. And that choice, the quiet, unshakable devotion, is what saves people every day. Not just in grand gestures, but in small mercies. The lick on your hand after a terrible day. The way they wait by the window without ever asking why you're late. The way they forgive the silence, the tears, the moments when you have nothing to give back. Because to them, love isn't a transaction. It's a state of being. They love you because they love you. And maybe that's what makes it so healing. In a world where everything feels conditional, success, relationships, even self-worth, your dog offers one pure truth. You as you are enough. And for many men, especially those who've lost someone or lived long enough to know pain intimately, that kind of love is nothing short of a miracle. One woman said, "My husband fell into depression after his brother died. Our dog wouldn't leave his side. He'd put his head in my husband's lap and stay for hours. And slowly, my husband came back." That's the thing. Dogs don't save us with words. They save us with being, with choosing us, even when we don't choose ourselves. But even love this deep has its own language. Not spoken, not trained. Just soft sighs, quiet touches, looks that seem to carry centuries of knowing. In our final part, we'll explore what might be the most beautiful of all the unspoken ways your dog says "I love you." Because sometimes they don't bark, or jump, or run. Sometimes they just look at you, and everything inside you settles. Let's step into that quiet now. It's a sigh, barely audible, soft, almost human. Your dog's lying beside you, nothing's happening, no one's speaking, and then from deep in his chest, he exhales. long, relaxed, complete. That sound isn't boredom. It's not fatigue. It's peace. It's your dog telling you, I feel safe. I feel home. We spend so much time talking, explaining, defending. But dogs, they don't need language. They need presence, and they give presence back in ways most people never notice. The soft blink as they look into your eyes, not wide or startled, just soft, slow. A sign of trust, so ancient wolves only do it with pack they'd die for. The way they press their body into yours, not demanding, not needy, just quietly anchoring you, as if your heartbeat is a rhythm they want to sink to. The lick on your hand when you pause in sadness, the gentle paw that rests on your knee, the way they mirror your mood tail low when you're down, playful when you finally smile. This is emotional mirroring, not mimicry, not imitation. It's a connection rooted in empathy and nervous systems wired to feel each other. Researchers call it interspecies attunement, but you just call it love. One man said, "Every time I cried, my dog would crawl onto my chest and just stay. Didn't lick, didn't move, just stayed." It was like his silence was stronger than any hug. And silence like that, it heals. Because in that silence, they aren't trying to fix you. They're not waiting for you to get over it or feel better. They're simply saying, I'm here, and I'm not leaving. And in a world that often demands words, answers closure. Sometimes all you need is that sigh, that blink, that warm fur pressed against your side at 2 a.m. when the memories come back too strong. It's easy to miss these moments. To look for big signs, jumping, barking, fetching, but the deepest love dogs show is quiet. When they follow you into rooms you don't need to be followed into. When they match their breath to yours without meaning to. When they don't sleep unless you do. One woman told me he doesn't go to bed until I say, good night. Doesn't matter if the lights are off, he waits. Like our day doesn't end until we end it together. That's not training. That's connection. And perhaps the most beautiful part. They never expect it in return. They don't ask you to mirror them. They don't need you to explain. They just show up. And they stay. Even when you can't speak, even when you're broken, even when you've got nothing left but silence, they choose to share that silence with you. Because to them, that's love. So now you've seen it. Not the tricks, not the fetches or the tail wags, but the quiet things, the sighs, the stillness, the way they watch you not because you're interesting, but because you're everything. In our final part, let's bring this journey home. Let's return to the beginning, to that one soft gaze, that head on your chest, that moment of stillness where your dog said without a single sound, you don't have to go through this alone. I'm right here. Because that's what love looks like, when it doesn't need words. So now you know. It's not about how many tricks your dog can do. It's not about how high they jump when you grab the leash. It's about those quiet, almost invisible moments, the ones that speak straight to your heart. The soft sigh beside you when the world feels too heavy. The way they press into your chest when words fail. The stillness they offer when the chaos inside you won't stop. Those aren't habits. They're not random. They're love. Because when a dog chooses, you truly chooses you, you become their world. Not their owner, their anchor, their calm, their home. And if you've recognized even a few of these signs, then congratulations. You're not just raising a good dog. You've been chosen. Chosen to be trusted. Chosen to be followed. Chosen to be loved in a way that asks for nothing but your presence. That kind of love isn't loud. It doesn't need grand gestures or fancy collars or expensive toys. It just needs you. And maybe in a world that keeps asking us to do more, be more, fix more, your dog is the one being whispering back, "You're enough, just as you are." One man said, "My dog didn't just comfort me. He gave me a reason to wake up, a reason to walk, a reason to stay." Maybe you've felt that too. Maybe your dog held you through something no one else could touch. If so, then hold on to that. Cherish it. Because that love, the quiet, forgiving, steady kind, it's rare. It's real. And it's yours. So tell me, which of these signs have you seen in your own dog? Did he stay by your side when the room went silent? Did she press her head into your chest when your heart broke? Leave a comment. Not just for me, for someone out there who might be wondering if what they're feeling is real. Because here, you're not alone. Here you and your dog are the story. And if this video touched you, if it reminded you of the little things your dog does that mean everything, stay with us. Next week, I'll share a story about something even more intimate, why your dog sleeps exactly where your heart is, and what that means about their memory, their grief, and their final goodbye. But for now, take a moment. Look at your dog. Say nothing. And know without a doubt that they already love you more than words could ever say. Have you ever sat in silence feeling like the world forgot about you, only to feel the soft weight of a paw resting gently on your hand? He didn't need to speak. He didn't even need to move. Just that one gesture, quiet, warm, steady, was enough to hold your heart together. You see, dogs don't show love the way we do. They don't write it. They don't say it. They live it. And if you've ever found yourself wondering why your dog follows only you, watches you when you sleep, or stops eating when you're gone, this video is for you. Because today, I'm not just listing dog behaviors. I'm revealing 20 quiet miracles that dogs only share with the person they love most. Some may sound small, but if you've lived through grief, through illness, through nights when you didn't know how to carry on, then you know the smallest gestures often mean the most, especially when they come from the one who's never left your side. Let's begin. 20. Dog places paw on you. There are moments when words feel too heavy, and even your own voice disappears. You sit there still hurting in silence, and that's when it happens. A soft weight lands gently on your hand. No noise, no asking, just a paw. Quiet, steady, warm. It's not random. It's not trained. That paw is a message. I'm here. I feel this with you. For anyone who's carried grief, who's known the ache of a house that feels too quiet, that small gesture means more than comfort. It means understanding. Behaviorists call it a calming signal. I call it a miracle of timing. Because your dog doesn't fix the pain, but somehow they make it less lonely. That soft paw is love choosing to sit beside your hurt, not away from it. And the most powerful part, they do it without needing to be asked. But wait, if that touched something in you, the next behavior might just break you wide open. Because when your heart is too heavy to speak, they bring something else. Let's keep going. 19. Dog brings toy when you're sad. You didn't call them. You didn't move. But somehow your dog knows. They disappear into another room and come back carrying that one toy. The one they always keep close. The one that smells like comfort. Like play. Like everything happy in their world. And they place it in your lap. Not because they want to play, but because they want you to feel better. That old toy, chewed and worn, isn't just fabric and stuffing, it's their favorite thing. And when they sense you hurting, they offer it to you like a gift. This helped me. Maybe it can help you too. Dogs don't know how to write letters, but they do know how to share what matters most to them. And sometimes That's a slobbery stuffed bear gently placed beside you in your lowest moment. This isn't a trick. It's not about fetch. It's empathy in motion. Because in their world, love means sharing, even when they don't understand the pain. They understand that you need something soft to hold on to. But here's where it gets even more beautiful. Sometimes they don't even need to see you, to know you're near. 18. Recognizing you by your footsteps. Before the door even opens, before your keys turn in the lock, your dog knows. There's no need for sight. No need for scent. Just the rhythm of your footsteps on the porch, and their ears perk up. Their tail starts to move. That sound, it's yours. And to them, it means everything. Studies show dogs can distinguish your unique footsteps from anyone else's. They don't wait for confirmation. They celebrate the moment your pattern echoes across the floor. It's not just recognition. It's anticipation. A feeling that finally their person is near again, that the day is no longer empty, that whatever was missing is back. And when they hear you, they don't stay still. They run to the door, hearts pounding, bodies wiggling. Because in their world, that sound is home. Even if you've been gone for minutes or hours, it doesn't matter. That moment always feels like a reunion. A spark that never fades, and it all begins with the sound of your feet. But once that door opens, what happens next is no longer quiet. Get ready, because the next thing they do is love unleashed. 17. Reunion explosion. You barely turn the key before it begins. Inside, there's chaos. Not the messy kind, but the kind that only comes from love that's been holding its breath all day. Your dog hears you, smells you, senses you, and in an instant, their entire body explodes with joy. The tail becomes a helicopter. The paws scramble like they've forgotten how floors work. The sound, uncontrollable. Barking, spinning, whining all at once. Not because they're wild, but because they're home. Science calls it an oxytocin spike, the same love hormone that bonds mothers to newborns. But to your dog, it's simpler than that. They missed you. Deeply. And now that you're here, their world is whole again. It doesn't matter if you were gone for hours or just 10 minutes. That joy doesn't check the clock. It checks the heart. And the moment it sees yours walking back through that door, it erupts. Some say dogs live in the moment. But this is what it looks like when someone's been counting every second without you. And when the celebration ends and the tail slows down, something quieter begins. Because true love doesn't just throw a party, it stays for the quiet nights too. 16. Stays with you when you're sick. There's a kind of silence that only illness brings. The world narrows to hospital walls or dim corners of your home. You stop talking. People stop visiting. Even your own body feels distant. But your dog doesn't leave. They curl up beside your feet. Follow the stretcher to the door. Wait by the bed without asking questions. They don't need to understand the diagnosis, they only know that you're hurting, and that means they stay. This isn't obedience, it's devotion. Studies show dogs respond to pain in their humans with proximity. Their cortisol levels drop as yours rise, because being close to you, even in suffering, gives them purpose. Some dogs refuse to eat. Others refuse to sleep unless they're touching you. To them, your weakness doesn't make you smaller. It makes their love stronger. There's a quiet bravery in that. No panic, no pity, just presence. And in those dark, aching moments, you start to believe something you never thought a dog could teach you, that loyalty doesn't shout. Sometimes, it simply stays. But here's what's even more moving. Before they drift off to sleep, they still do one last thing to make sure you're okay. 15. Looks at you before sleeping. The room is quiet. The lights are low. You settle into bed worn from the day, and just before your dog curls into their usual spot, they look at you. Not a glance, not a check for treats or toys, but a long, still gaze, soft eyes, no demand, just making sure you're okay. It doesn't seem like much, but to them, it's everything. In the wild, animals don't close their eyes unless they trust who's nearby. That last look is instinct and intimacy wrapped into one. A simple way of saying, I can sleep because I know you're here. And for you, especially if you live alone, especially if the nights have felt longer since someone you loved left, it means something too. You're seen. You're safe. You matter to someone. Even in silence, that tiny pause, that unspoken check-in, it's love standing guard. They don't fall asleep until you do. And in that final moment before dreams take over, they make sure the one they love most has made it through the day. But sometimes, it's not just their look that tells you they understand. Sometimes all it takes is a single word, and they respond like they've always known. 14. Responds to good night. You say it every night almost without thinking. Good night. But your dog hears it. Not just as a sound, but as a signal. And even if they're across the room stretched out on the rug or curled in the hallway, they get up. Slowly, quietly, with that familiar rhythm, and head toward their bed. It's not obedience. You didn't teach it. It's something deeper, a ritual built from time, from trust. They've linked that word with rest, with routine, with the end of another day spent by your side. Scientists have shown that dogs can associate human words with context, emotion, and habit. But even without data, you feel it. This isn't a trick. It's a moment of shared rhythm. Like two hearts that have learned to beat in sync. And somehow, that simple exchange makes the night feel less empty. Because love isn't always loud. Sometimes, it sounds like footsteps walking toward a blanket because you said one soft word. But what happens when that same night isn't peaceful? Stay with me, because in your most anxious moments, your dog does something even more powerful. 13. Comforts you during panic. You don't even have to say it out loud. Your chest tightens, your breath changes. Something inside you begins to spin, and somehow your dog knows. They come closer, quietly. No barking, no jumping, just presence. They lean in, press their body near yours, maybe rest their head on your lap. And if your hands start to shake, they offer theirs. It's not training. It's intuition. Studies show dogs can detect changes in your breathing, your heart rate, even the scent of your sweat when you're anxious. But more than sensing, it's what they do with it. They become your anchor, a steady weight when the world feels like it's slipping. One man shared that every time a panic attack started, his dog would press against his chest gently, like it was holding him together from the outside in. That's not a coincidence. That's connection. They don't try to fix you. They don't panic with you. They just stay until the storm passes. And when your mind quiets again, there they are. Still. Calm. Yours. But what if you're the one who's gone, and they're the one left waiting? Because the next thing they do, when you're not there, will break your heart in the most beautiful way. 12. Waits by the door when you're gone. You didn't mean to be gone long, just a quick errand, an appointment, a day away. But for your dog, every minute without you stretches like a season. They wait, sometimes by the door, sometimes by the window, sometimes in the exact spot you last stood. Eyes fixed, ears tuned to every sound, hoping the next noise means you're home. It's not just habit. It's not boredom. It's longing. Dogs with deep attachment often exhibit separation anxiety, not in destruction, but in devotion. They skip meals. They don't play. they don't rest. Because you're not where you're supposed to be. There's a photo shared by a man who lost his wife. After her passing, their dog would lie at the front door every afternoon, exactly the time she used to return from her walk. That's not behavior. That's grief. And if your dog has ever waited at the doortail, still heart on hold, you need to know they weren't waiting for a person. They were waiting for their person. But when you finally return, when that door opens again, what happens next is pure magic. Because some reunions aren't just sweet. They're wild, beautiful chaos. 11. Rests their head on your hand. It happens quietly. You're sitting there thinking, grieving maybe just lost in one of those long, silent afternoons, and then your dog walks over. No sound, no jump. Just slowly, gently, rests their head on your hand. Not your shoulder, not your chest. Your hand. The same hand that once held someone else's. The same hand that now trembles on harder days. And they place their whole weight on it, like they're saying, "Let me carry some of that for you." There's no training for that. No command. It's instinct wrapped in empathy. In canine behavior, intentional contact, especially resting the head, is a profound sign of trust and emotional awareness. They're not asking for attention. They're offering presence. It's not "pet me." It's "I'm with you." And what's more remarkable, they do it at the exact moment you thought no one saw your sadness. That kind of timing doesn't come from habit. It comes from love. And it's in that stillness, that unspoken moment, you realize you've never really been alone. But when they look into your eyes and hold the gaze just a little longer, that's when it gets even deeper. 10. Looks into your eyes. At first it feels almost accidental. You glance over, and they're already looking at you. Not with excitement or expectation, but with something quieter, deeper. Their gaze doesn't demand. It doesn't move. It just stays. And then it softens. The longer you hold it, the more it feels like something is being said. Something you can't quite explain but feel in your chest. A message that sounds like, "I trust you. I know you. You're mine." In the wild, animals don't hold eye contact unless they feel completely safe. For dogs, this kind of gaze is sacred. Researchers at Azabu University discovered that when dogs look into their human's eyes with affection, both experience a rise in oxytocin, the love hormone. It's the same bond-building mechanism between mothers and newborns. But beyond science, there's something undeniably human about that moment. Because when you've spent enough nights trying to keep yourself together, and someone looks at you like you're still whole, that stays with you. And if you've ever had your dog look at you that way, you know no one else could take your place. But there's something even more telling about where they choose to rest. Because what they do while you sleep reveals more than words ever could. 9. Gently bites your hand when playing. It catches you by surprise at first. You're playing, maybe laughing, maybe just sitting on the floor, and suddenly your dog takes your hand gently into their mouth. Not hard, not aggressive, just soft pressure. Like they're holding you without holding too tight. And for a moment, you wonder, what does that mean? To your dog, it means everything. From the time they're puppies, dogs learn bite control with their siblings. Too hard, and the game stops. Too soft, and the connection doesn't feel real. So they learn the balance, the perfect tender touch that says, "You're family. I won't hurt you, but I want to be close." Behaviorists call this bite inhibition. Emotionally, it's something more. It's vulnerability, trust, playfulness wrapped in restraint. Because with you, they feel safe enough to let go of fear, and strong enough to be gentle. It's a quiet language Only dogs speak fluently. A way to say, we're bonded. I choose you. And if they've ever done that to you, you're not just someone they play with. You're someone they've claimed. But what happens when someone or something tries to come between you? What they do next isn't just love, it's protection. And it's powerful. 8. Stands in front of you when strangers approach. You're out for a walk. Nothing unusual. Just the wind, the leash, your quiet thoughts. And then someone approaches. Maybe they're just passing by. Maybe they're too close. You barely react. But your dog does. Their body shifts. Subtle, but unmistakable. They move in front of you not to threaten, not to attack, but to stand between you and what they're not sure about. It's not aggression. It's instinct. It's love. Dogs are pack animals wired to protect what they treasure. And when your dog senses even a whisper of discomfort in you, a change in tone, a slight lean away, they respond. Not with noise, but with presence. A man once said his dog did this every time someone new came to the house after his wife passed. Not a growl, just a stance. You have to go through me first. It wasn't training. It was loyalty. And if your dog has ever stepped between you and the world, it's not because they don't trust others. It's because they trust only one person to protect, and that's you. But what about the moments when you're not moving at all? And they still stay close. Because the next thing they do, everywhere you go, says even more. 7. Follows you everywhere. You stand up to grab a glass of water. You take 2 steps, and there they are. Your shadow, following you to the kitchen, the hallway, the bathroom, even when there's nothing in it for them. No treats, no toys, just you. At first it feels like habit, but it's not. It's devotion. Dogs are pack animals. In their world, closeness means safety. Being near the one they trust most isn't a choice, it's instinct. And when they follow you, they're not just curious. They're staying with the one place that feels like home. Some call them Velcro dogs. But if you've ever lived through grief anxiety or long days alone, you know it's not clinginess. It's love with legs. You move, they move. You rest, they rest. You cry, and they sit quietly beside you until it passes. They don't ask where you're going. They just say with every step, wherever you are, that's where I belong. But sometimes, they don't just follow. Sometimes, they lie down. And where they choose to sleep, that's when you truly understand what you mean to them. 6. Sleeps pressed against your back. You lie down at the end of a long day. Maybe it was heavy. Maybe it was just quiet. And then you feel it. A slow shift on the mattress. The soft press of fur against your back. No invitation, no command. Just your dog choosing again to sleep right next to you. Not because it's warmer there. Not because the blanket's softer. But because that's where you are. In the wild, animals only sleep beside those they trust with their lives. For dogs' touch during rest is more than comfort. It's security. It's surrender. It's saying, I believe you'll keep me safe while I sleep. But sometimes, it's not about them at all. Sometimes, it's their quiet way of keeping watch over you. For people who live alone, especially those healing from loss, this kind of closeness fills the silence like nothing else. It doesn't speak, but it says, you're not alone tonight. And when you've felt that warmth against your back, it stays with you. But they don't just comfort you in the stillness of sleep. They also feel your storms even before you do. And they respond in the most unexpected way. 5. Licks your hand when you're upset. You don't say a word, but something's different. Your shoulders drop. Your breath shifts. Maybe there's a weight behind your eyes you haven't let fall yet. And without waiting, your dog steps forward and licks your hand. It's not asking for food. It's not play. It's comfort. From the moment they're born, puppies lick their mothers to connect, to say, I'm here, I need you, I know you. As adults, they carry that instinct into love, into grief, into moments when they can't understand what's wrong, but they can feel that something is. Researchers have found dogs often lick their humans when stress hormones are present, especially cortisol. It calms them. And just as quietly, it calms you. It's messy. It's instinctive. It's honest. And when your dog does it while you sit in silence, wondering if anyone even notices you're hurting, it becomes a kind of language only the heart understands. Because love, in its rawest form, doesn't always sound like words. Sometimes it's wet, and warm, and full of meaning. But the way they soothe you isn't always with gentleness. Sometimes, it's something they learned from the very beginning when love was first taught through teeth. 4. Sighs when they feel safe with you. It doesn't sound like much, just a soft exhale, a slow release of breath. But when your dog does it, head resting near you, body finally still, it carries weight. Because that sigh, it's not boredom. It's not tiredness. It's relief. Dogs sigh when their body shifts from alert to at ease. It's the moment the world feels safe again. When you've stopped moving, when they've stopped watching, and there's nothing left but trust. Researchers describe it as a physiological marker: lowered heart rate, softened posture, the full body release of tension. But for you, it feels like something else entirely. It feels like love, like presence, like being chosen. And if you've ever sat in silence and heard that little breath beside you, you know you're not just their owner. You're their safe place. In that sigh, they tell you, I've made it home. But for some dogs, when you're gone, that peace disappears. And what happens then, what they stop doing, can reveal a heartbreak deeper than most people ever realize. 3. Stops eating when you're away. They were fine yesterday, eating, playing, wagging like usual. But today, you're gone, and suddenly the bowl stays full. Hours pass, no interest, no appetite, nothing but stillness. And someone says, it's just a dog. They'll eat when they're hungry. But not always. When a dog is deeply bonded to one person, your absence isn't just noticed, it's felt. In their gut, in their rhythm, in the way the world suddenly feels off. Veterinary studies have linked loss of appetite in dogs to separation anxiety and emotional disruption. Not just when you're gone for good, but even when it's just long enough for them to worry. A man once said his dog stopped eating for 3 full days while he was in the hospital. No illness, just waiting, just missing. Because for dogs, food is joy. It's comfort. It's routine. And when the one who makes their world feel safe disappears, so does their hunger for anything else. They're not punishing you. They're grieving. And when they finally eat again, it's not because the food changed. It's because you came back. But sometimes even when you're home, the way they seek you says more than any absence. Because where they rest their head next, that says everything. 2. Rests their head on your chest when you're sad. Some nights you don't want to talk. You don't even want to move. The weight inside you is too heavy, and the silence around you too loud. And then, without a sound, they come close. They climb gently onto the couch or the bed. Take a moment. Then place their head right on your chest. Not your lap, not your side, but your heart. You can feel their breath, the warmth of their body, the quiet message in their stillness. I'm here. I feel this with you. Studies show dogs can detect sadness through body language, scent, and even subtle changes in your breathing. But it's not the science that moves you. It's their choice. They don't offer solutions. They don't leave you alone either. They just stay. And somehow, in the pressure of their head against your chest, the ache in you finds room to soften. Because when everything inside you hurts too much to explain, they still find a way to say, I know. But there's one sign of love even quieter than this. And if you've ever seen it, you'll never forget it. 1. Lies beside you completely still when you're hurting. You don't remember calling them. You didn't say a word, but somehow they knew. You were sitting there too tired to cry, too empty to explain, and they came. Slowly, quietly, and lay down beside you. Not asking for attention, not trying to fix anything. Just there, completely still, not moving, for hours. To someone else it might look unremarkable, but if you've ever known grief, deep, bone-heavy grief, you know this kind of stillness is sacred. Because they don't just sit with your body, they sit with your pain. Behaviorists call this emotional mirroring. Dogs who are deeply bonded can match your energy, your silence, even your sadness. Not because they're confused, but because they're choosing to be in it with you. No answers, no expectations, just quiet companionship. And if your dog has ever laid by your side, unmoving for as long as it took, then you know, you weren't alone. Not for a single second. They felt it. And they stayed. And maybe that's the truest kind of love, one that doesn't need fixing, doesn't need words, just needs to be near. So now you know. Those little things, those gentle nudges, the quiet sighs, the warm weight on your chest, the toys dropped at your feet, the eyes that watch you, even when you're not looking, they weren't random. They were love. Real, wordless, loyal love. A kind of love that doesn't ask anything from you except your presence. One that doesn't leave when life gets quiet. One that stays through loss, through fear, through nights that feel like they'll never end. You see, dogs don't perform. They don't pretend. They don't love based on what you do. They love based on who you are to them. And if you recognized even a few of these signs, then know this. You weren't just their human. You were their home. You were the one they followed, protected, forgave, and waited for. The one they celebrated. The one they grieved when you left. The one they chose fully, quietly, and completely. Not because you did anything extraordinary, but because to them, you are. And maybe, just maybe, in a world that often forgets how to show up gently, your dog never needed reminding. They just knew. So the next time they sigh near you, or nudge their toy into your lap, or press their head against your heart, pause. Feel it. Because in that moment, you're not just loved. You're everything. You don't have to be perfect to be loved by a dog. You just have to be present. And if this story touched something in you, if you saw your own dog in these moments, then stay with us. Because in the next video, we'll explore the meaning behind one of the most tender things a dog can do when they rest their head over your heart. What are they really saying? Until then, tell me. Which of these moments did your dog do for you? Let's talk in the comments.